Meet Brandon Wasinski, an 18-year-old from New Mexico. Brandon was pulling a traffic stop at around 12:30 in the morning when a real police officer who happened to be passing by noticed something about the situation wasn't quite right. Brandon's car didn't have any police markings, but the car was flashing red and blue lights. And to further add to his confusion, Brandon wasn't wearing any police uniform. Instead, he was sporting a face cap, blue jeans, and white sneakers. So the officer pulled up to have a look. But the closer he got, the more he realized he was up to something. Intrigued by how a young man was making a traffic stop in the middle of the night, the officer decided to quiz Brandon about who and what department of the police he worked for. Brandon told the police officer that he was working for the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department, even though he looked like he belonged in the football squad of some high school team. The officer immediately knew something was up, so he asked Brandon to show some means of identification to confirm his status. And this is where things start to get even more tricky.
You say you work for Bernalillo Sheriff's? Yes, sir. Do you have an ID with you? This is all I got. I mean, like I said, I'm under, but I was just heading over there to the courthouse. The courthouse for what? To get my crap. I know, it makes no sense. I caught him going 120 down I-40. Why do you have lights on this vehicle? Personal. I know. Do you have an ID with you at all? No, I keep that in my uniform.
Brandon said he worked at the sheriff's department, but had no other means of ID except for his badge, and was going to the courthouse to get it before he saw a driver going above the speed limit and decided to pull him over. And when the officer asked why he was flashing blue lights, he simply said it was for personal reasons. But because Brandon's story showed a few gaps, like how he was under-equipped, the officer knew something was up.
Hey, I'm not here to mess with you, man. It's just the thing is, yeah, you're a speeding dude. You could have called it in. And, because if you get into shooting, you're speeding. Alright, man. I understand. This, for starters, I know this looks really bad. This looks really bad. This screams whacker.
One thing you gotta give to Brandon, though, is the confidence. He might be 18, but all through the interrogation, he acted like nothing was wrong and played it cool. However, it's that confidence that would eventually spell his doom. But for now, Brandon was bouncing on it.
How long you been on? About 3 years. Okay. I've been on for like 13 years. Alright, so I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying that I've never done anything to you, against protocol, but you need to be a little bit more careful, alright? So just do me a favor, hang tight for a second, okay? Yes, sir. And we're gonna, and that's it, alright? Once we're done here,
Now, if you're thinking that Brandon's confidence might just steer him out of trouble, think again. Because the police officer had reached out to his superior to come down and help. And as far as Brandon goes, his day was about to go from bad to worse.
hey, Brendan? In the meanwhile, man, until I get somebody out here, man, do me a favor. I'm not gonna handcuff you, but I'm gonna have you sit in back of my car, alright? Alright. Do you have anything on you, man? Any weapons or anything? Okay, that's fine. Just have a seat, alright?
As Brandon sat in the back of the police car watching the officers discuss his situation, Brandon began to think hard about his situation. And that's when the 18-year-old realized a daunting truth. He had messed up, and there was no going back.
What's that? Yeah, give me 1 second. What's up, man? Alright. I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you. I'm not a cop.
Up until this point, Brandon had kept his cool and acted like he was in the right. But now, everything was falling to pieces, and the boy behind the costume finally revealed himself.
Okay. Just kidding. Where'd you get that badge from? I bought it offline. Okay. Do me a favor, stay in here, okay? For a second.
This is a situation many of us have found ourselves in the past. The moment your lies finally catch up to you, and you're left with nowhere else to run but the truth. And as Brandon contemplated his terrible decisions, the officer explained the situation to his superior.
I was heading northbound on 4th Street. See this unit, 54, or 54 on the car. I'm like, okay. It's this car that that's right here. And the guy was wearing jeans, no gun belts, no nothing, a t-shirt. And I'm like, and just wearing like an Air Force hat. That's strange. So I flip around, and his plates come back to civilian, doesn't come back to, skip or anything. So I stopped, I talked to him for a minute.
It's here that the cop also reveals to us that Brandon had also lied about his age.
He first told me he was born out in 94. When I checked the plates, he was born in 2001.
We also find out that the officer did a background check on Brandon and discovered something that might explain why Brandon decided to start playing police.
I double checked with MVD, his ORN comes back to 2001. I had him sitting back in my car because that's kind of weird to me. And right now when I was getting out, he's like, hey, let me talk to you. I was like, no, I'm not a cop. I just bought this badge online.
So he's not a BCSO employee at all?
No.
After reaching a conclusion with the sergeant, Brandon was finally arrested.
For a second, at this point right now, you are being under arrest. Do you understand? Okay. Give me a moment and then we're going to talk a little bit more, okay?
It's unclear whether Brandon was just having fun playing police or whether he dreams of one day becoming an officer. Whatever the answer is, instead of enrolling in a police academy to become a proper official of the law, the 18-year-old decided to take matters into his own hands and ends up in cuffs because of it. Now, you would expect the story to end here, but not quite.
Mind if I take a look at your bag? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
You got this online?
At this point, Brandon had been caught and arrested, and logically, he should be done with the lies. But instead of telling the officer that he got the badge online, just as he previously told the first officer, the 18-year-old decided to lie again.
You got this online?
It was, well, at one point my father's.
Brandon even sheds some tears and begs the officers to let him speak to his wife, which might have probably been a lie too.
What if I call my wife and tell her I'm not coming home tonight?
It's going to be a decision these gentlemen make. So I need you to lean back a little bit.
Can I please call my wife?
When we get to the substation, we'll give her a call. Okay?
Other than Brandon is 79-year-old police chaplain Harlan Jeffers, whose reckless decisions saw him end up on the other side of the law.